In this lecture, we will create the purchase component using a class. At the moment, it's a functional component and it is the correct approach considering the latest updates of React and Redux. But I also want to show you the older approach, as you might still see class-based components with Redux. And in that case, you should be in a position to handle it comfortably. Let's go to the coding. Here I have the purchase CL, that is purchase class component. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import the component. Now I'm going to say class. The name is purchase CL and this is going to extend the component class. And inside this we have the render method and of course the JSX return, and inside this I'm going to copy this code of purchase.js and paste it here. So our component is ready and this is a class based component. But here we have to write some different code. To connect this component with the Redux store, we have to import the connect method from React Redux. Let me also export the class because that's where we use the connect method. Now here, instead of writing the class name, we say connect and there will be two parentheses. The syntax we will understand in few seconds, but first of all let me finish this. So I'll say the component, in the second parentheses you pass the component, and in the first parentheses you have to pass a function. Now I'm going to name this function as mapStateToProps. You can name whatever you want to, but this is a common practice that we say that I want to map the current state, the global state, as props in this component. So I'm going to create this function also. I'll say mapStateToProps. Now this function should return an object. So I'll say, okay, it's going to return an object. What will this function receive? It will receive a state. When will it receive a state? Anytime the state changes, this function will be called in fact, and the state will be received here, the latest, the updated state. Now, the next thing is the state which we have received, we want to receive it in a local entity. So I'll say, for example, products, in which I'm going to return the state.products. So now the global state products is available as products in the local component. But when it is received and it's a class component, so what actually happens is that instead of this products, it will be returned like this dot props dot products. Alright, so now this component is configured. Let's go to app.js. And I have already imported now the purchase CL, that is the class, and let the purchase class as it is, and we add the purchase CL here. There will be two purchase components in this case, but that's fine. We just need to try the class component. I need to remove this handler as we will see this after we are done with the dispatch. In the next lecture, we will write the code for dispatching the action. So at the moment I am removing it, and let me just save this. Let's check the output. I'll go to the output window. Now you see that there are two purchase components. Let me name this second component as class component. So I'll just change the text here, purchase, and we can say class. Now you see that we have purchase component, we have class component, and the cart. This purchase component is filled with the global data. Same is the case with this purchase class component. At the moment, if I select anything from this list, I'm not going to get the value inside the cart. The reason is we have not yet dispatched the action, and that's what we are going to do in the next section. So next lecture, we will discuss about how do we handle the dispatching actions through the class component. Now let's talk about few relative questions at the moment. The first question is, how will you connect the class-based React component to the Redux store. So the connect function allows the class-based component to connect with the Redux store. There are various ways to use the connect method. Let me just list it out here. In the first syntax, we just pass the component and there is no mapStateToProps or dispatchToProps. In the second case, which we have tried in our example, is that you have the mapStateToProps and you pass the component. In the third example, we have state2props and dispatch2props. And in the fourth, in case if you do not have mapStateToProps, like in the second syntax, you see that when we do not have mapDispatchToProps, we do not pass null. But when you have this mapDispatchToProps only and you do not have mapStateToProps, then you have to pass null because the first parameter we need to show is not passed. These are the different ways. There can be more ways also, but these are 4 basic ways we can use. The second question is, how does the mapStateToProps method work? So mapStateToProps is a function which is called anytime the store is updated. It receives the updated state in this parameter. This function is expected to return an object and is referred as stateProps. So this function will be called whenever there is an update in the state and you receive the updated state in the component. That's what the whole idea is of mapStateToProps. The third question is, how will you call connect method if there is no mapStateToProps present but mapDispatchToProps is present? So as I mentioned, when the mapStateToProps is not there, you have to use null and then you give mapDispatchToProps. mapDispatchToProps we are going to see in the immediate next lecture.